Have you ever stood in a room full of people and still felt completely alone? Now imagine this. You're texting her again. You're calling again. You're trying to make her feel special, important, loved again. And what do you get back? Cold replies, dry okays, or worse, total silence. It feels like your heart is screaming into a black hole, right? Like you're giving and getting nothing in return. Not even a thank you. Not even a look. Now here's the crazy part. Most people will tell you to try even harder. Send more messages. Buy her something. Tell her how much she means to you. Prove you're the one. But guess what? That's the trap. That's the game most men fall into. Because when you chase, you lose. Not just her, but yourself. Let me tell you something powerful. Something quiet, but strong. A real man, a stoic man, doesn't run in circles for someone who's standing still. He watches. He listens. And when it feels one-sided, he doesn't argue. He doesn't beg. He doesn't cry out. He exits, not with hate, not with revenge, but with peace. Because he knows something very important. His presence is valuable. His time is gold. And his love, that's not free for someone who doesn't treat it like treasure. Now think about this. When you disappear from someone who expected you to always be there, they start to notice. They feel something weird, something cold, something missing. That's when the game changes. She starts thinking, wait, where is he? Why is he so quiet? Why isn't he chasing me anymore? But guess what? By then, you're not chasing. You're building your peace. You're living your life. And you're protecting your heart. This is not about playing games. This is about ending the game. It's about making one strong move. To walk away when your energy is being wasted. If it feels one-sided, if you're always the one giving, if your heart is starting to feel heavy, then it's time. Time to stop chasing. Time to choose silence instead of screaming. Time to protect your soul instead of trying to win someone who stopped noticing it. When it feels one-sided, the Stoic man's exit strategy. What if I told you that your absence could speak louder than your love ever did? Think about this. You were always there. You answered fast. You showed up, no matter what. You made time even when you didn't have it. But still, she didn't seem to care. She didn't light up when you called. She didn't smile when you texted. She acted like your presence was expected, not appreciated. Now here's where everything flips. The moment you go quiet, really quiet, it stings. Not for you, for her, because she was so used to you being there, so used to your attention, so used to you chasing. But now, something's wrong. You're not chasing. You're not showing up. You're not even asking if she's okay. And that is when her brain starts to panic. See, the human mind is strange. We don't value what's always there. We value what we might lose. That's the secret of psychological scarcity. When something becomes rare, it becomes powerful. It becomes important. It becomes unforgettable. Let me paint a picture. Imagine two birds. One always sits on your windowsill. Same time, same song. Every day. After a while, you stop noticing it. You stop listening. But then one day, that bird doesn't show up. And suddenly, you miss it. You wonder where it went. You wait. You worry. You miss the thing you used to ignore. That's what your absence does. You are the bird, my friend. And when you stop showing up, her mind starts whispering, where is he? Is he okay? Did he move on? She gets confused, then scared, then curious. And curiosity, that's where attraction starts again. This is not about being cruel. This is not about games. It's about understanding human psychology. When you're always available, you feel easy to forget. But when you're calm, distant, focused on you, you become a mystery. A storm behind still eyes. A man who can walk away and mean it. And that's what women remember. That stillness, that mystery, that quiet power that says, I don't need to be here. I choose to be here, but if it's not mutual, I leave. When it feels one-sided, the Stoic man's exit strategy. Ever wondered why she starts missing you right after you finally stop trying? Strange, right? But there's a reason, and it's not what you think. Here's something wild to think about. When you chase her, she runs. But when you walk away peacefully, she turns around. Why? Because your silence is louder than 1,000 I miss you texts. Because your calm exit, without anger, without begging, feels unsettling. It feels like something rare is slipping away, and she can't control it. Let's break this down. People crave what they can't predict. And your silence? It's not cold. It's calculated. It's quiet power. You're not exploding. You're not begging. You're not giving her some emotional drama to react to. You're simply gone. That confuses her emotions like nothing else. She asks herself, wait, was he serious? Why isn't he chasing me? Is he really okay without me? And that storm inside her, it's not caused by what you did. It's caused by what you didn't do. You didn't beg. You didn't explain. You didn't try to prove anything. You just let your energy disappear. That's what Stoic men do. They exit with grace. They create space, not to hurt, but to heal themselves. They don't punish. They don't play games. They just choose peace. And that peace, that's what haunts her thoughts. Because no woman forgets the man who walked away without noise, without bitterness, without looking back. You see, Women don't remember the ones who over-explained or the ones who tried too hard. They remember the ones who left mysteriously. The ones who didn't say much, but made them feel everything. She starts thinking about the way you didn't need her to make you happy. She starts wondering what you're doing, who you're becoming, and if you've already found peace without her. That's where the shift happens. The one who was once too available becomes the one she can't stop thinking about. In the next stage, you'll discover exactly how Stoic men keep their center, even when emotions get wild. And once you master that, you become unshakable and unforgettable. When it feels one-sided, the Stoic man's exit strategy. What if I told you the secret to making her chase you is to become the man who doesn't flinch when she pulls away? Sounds crazy, right? But that's the power of emotional stillness. Here's the truth that almost no one talks about. She watches you most when she pulls away. Not when she's texting every day. Not when things are sweet and easy. But when she gets distant, quiet, cold. She's watching everything you do. Will you panic? Will you chase? Will you fall apart? Or will you sit still and stay strong? That's when a Stoic man stands out. Because he doesn't freak out. He doesn't text paragraphs. He doesn't ask, "Are we okay?" every 10 minutes. He just breathes. He stays calm like a mountain, still, solid, unmoved. And guess what? That calmness makes her feel something she didn't expect. Fear. Not fear of you. Fear of losing something rare. Fear that maybe you're okay without her. That's the emotional twist she didn't see coming. Because most guys, they fold fast. They try to fix the distance. They get nervous and spill their feelings all over the floor. But not you. You're not running toward chaos. You're standing inside your power. Let me say something important here. Being calm doesn't mean you don't care. It means you know your worth. It means you trust yourself. It means you don't need her to feel complete. And that is rare. And rare things, they're hard to forget. She might test you. She might get colder before she warms up. She might go quiet just to see what you'll do. But don't react. Don't chase. Just observe. Just exist. Because your silence has more aura than her noise. She won't understand it at first. She might even get confused. How is he so calm? Why isn't he trying harder? Is he slipping away? Now the roles flip. You become the one she studies. You become the mystery. And that mystery is what makes her long for your energy again. When it feels one-sided, the Stoic man's exit strategy. What if the secret to her chasing you was never about her at all? What if the real power came from building a life so strong, so full, that she fears being left out of it? Here's the cold truth. Most men chase women because their lives are empty. They don't have purpose. They don't have a path, so they cling to a woman, hoping she will give them meaning. But women don't want to be your purpose. They want to join your purpose. There's a big difference. A Stoic man doesn't beg for attention. He builds. He creates. He sharpens his craft, one day at a time. While other men are stuck texting, "Why aren't you replying?" He's at the gym. He's reading. He's learning something new. He's locked in on his mission. And that quiet focus, that calm, steady progress, it sends a message without saying a word. It says, "I want you, but I don't need you. I care, but I'm not stopping my life for you. I'm here, but I won't stay if I'm not respected." You see, when your world is rich with meaning, you don't chase people. They feel drawn to you. Because you're not just a man. You're a force, a storm they didn't expect, a light they can't stop staring at. Now let me be clear. This isn't about ignoring her. This isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about choosing yourself first. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, "My life matters. My goals matter. I matter." When you do that, your aura changes. And that energy, she feels it deep in her chest. Suddenly, you're not the guy who waits by the phone. You're the guy who makes her wonder, where is he? What's he doing? Why do I miss him more when he's silent? That's not manipulation. That's attraction built on purpose. Because when a man fills his life with meaning, he becomes the prize. And the man who becomes the prize doesn't chase. He attracts. When it feels one-sided, the Stoic man's exit strategy. Ever wonder why she suddenly pays attention? Only when you disappear? What if silence was louder than any words you could ever say? Let me tell you something strange, but true. The more she sees you, the less she feels you. And the less she sees you, the more you live inside her mind. Crazy, right? But here's why. When you're always around, always calling, always available, she doesn't have to think about you. She doesn't have to wonder. She doesn't feel your value because there's no space, no pause, no mystery. But the moment you step back, not as a game, not to punish her, but because you're living, because you're growing, because your life is full, that space you leave, it starts to speak, and the silence starts to echo. She begins to think, why hasn't he texted today? Was he always this quiet? Why do I feel a little off when he's not around? She doesn't realize it yet, but she's craving your presence again. Not because you said something, but because you said nothing and she noticed. That's the power of scarcity. It's not about ignoring her. It's about having a life so powerful, so exciting, so full of movement, that she has to fight for a space inside it. You see, most guys try to impress her by giving more attention, more words, more time. But a Stoic man knows it's not what you give that makes her feel you. It's what you don't give away too easily. The rare things always feel more special. Think about it like this. If she knows you'll drop everything the second she calls, that's not love. That's neediness. That's weakness. But if she knows you have your own path, if she knows you're not just waiting around for her approval, suddenly your time feels expensive, your energy feels rare, and you feel unforgettable. Now here's the twist. Scarcity doesn't make her love you. It makes her value you. And once a woman values you, her emotions go deeper than she ever expected. Then, when it feels one-sided, the Stoic man's exit strategy. What if I told you, the man who stays calm in chaos is the one who haunts her thoughts the most, not the loudest, not the angriest, but the stillest. Let's be real. Most men lose everything the moment they lose control. One wrong text, one emotional outburst, one desperate message that says, "Please, just tell me what's wrong." And boom, the power's gone. But not you, not the Stoic man. You hold the line, you stay calm, even when her energy pulls away, even when it feels like she's drifting. You don't chase. You observe. You breathe. You respond, not react. Because here's a powerful truth. A woman doesn't remember the guy who begged. She remembers the man who stayed grounded, while her emotions spun like a storm. You see, most people think strength is about muscles or money. But real strength? It's emotional control. It's when you feel like screaming, but you stay silent. It's when you feel the fear, but you walk away anyway. It's when your heart is racing, but your face is still. That is magnetic. Imagine this. She throws a test at you. Maybe she pulls away a little. Maybe she acts distant, cold, hot and cold. Most men panic. They double text. They demand answers. They push for connection. But you lean back. Not because you don't care, but because you've mastered yourself. And guess what that does to her? It makes her confused, curious, even obsessed. She starts asking, why doesn't he react? Is he not affected? Does he care? Or is he just strong enough to not show it? She feels your silence more than she ever felt another man's words. Because calm men are not boring. They are dangerous. They are unpredictable. They are the ones you never forget. She knows deep down, if you can control your emotions, you can control a room. If you can stay calm when she acts chaotic, you're the one in control of everything. So the next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, to react, to argue, pause, wait, breathe. Your silence is louder than anything you could ever say. And it's burned into her memory. When it feels one-sided, the Stoic man's exit strategy. What if the thing she really wanted wasn't more of you, but more of your mission? Let's flip the script, because the world keeps telling you this lie. If you want her, give her everything. Your time, your energy, your focus, your dreams. Give, give, give until you're empty. But what happens next? She pulls away. She acts distant. She stops respecting you. And you're left sitting there, asking yourself, what did I do wrong? Here's what they won't tell you. She doesn't want to be your whole life. She wants to watch you live a big life and try to earn her place in it. She doesn't want to be your mission. She wants to see you on your mission and hope she's strong enough to stand beside it. Purpose. That's the real magnet. When a man wakes up with a fire in his eyes, not for her, but for his vision, she feels that. She notices that. She starts chasing that. Because now, you're not waiting around for her attention. You're busy building something real, something strong, something bigger than the games and moods and mixed signals. And now, she's no longer in control. You are. She's wondering, why is he so focused? Why does he look so driven today and not even looking at me? Why do I feel like I'm losing him? Boom. That's the power of purpose. It creates healthy fear. The fear of emotional abandonment. Not because you're playing games, but because you're actually living. And here's the Stoic truth. A man on a mission is harder to reach, harder to control, and way harder to forget. So if she feels you slipping away, not out of anger, but because you're chasing something higher, that mystery burns in her mind. She'll crave your attention again, but this time on your terms, not hers. When it feels one-sided, the Stoic man's exit strategy. What if your silence said more than 1,000 words? What if your absence made her heart scream, "Where is he?" Let me tell you something wild. Most men chase. They beg, they explain, they talk and talk and talk, trying to fix everything with words. But the Stoic man, he knows something better, something sharper, something quieter, and something that hits deeper than words ever could. He uses absence. Now listen closely. We're not talking about playing hard to get. We're not doing childish tricks. We're talking about real powerful space. You stop texting so much because you're actually busy. You stop trying to please because you've got things to build. You don't chase because you finally realized you are the prize. And that's when something strange happens. She starts wondering, why isn't he chasing me anymore? Did I lose him? Wait, was he more valuable than I thought? Boom. You've just created the feeling that haunts women. Emotional scarcity. It's simple. What's always there gets taken for granted. But what disappears gets remembered forever. Absence creates tension. Tension creates curiosity. Curiosity turns into obsession. And obsession turns into action. But here's the twist. You didn't disappear to hurt her. You disappeared to find yourself. You weren't cold. You were calm. You weren't angry. You were focused. And that is what makes it even more powerful. Because your absence wasn't revenge, it was alignment. You became scarce. Because you finally valued your time. You stopped being easy. Because you finally respected your energy. Now she's sitting in silence, feeling the echo of your missing presence. And it hurts. Not because you shouted, not because you blamed, but because you left the room with your head high and your soul even higher. Get ready for the next stage. We'll bring it all together. How the Stoic man doesn't just walk away, he walks towards something greater. And that's the final move that makes her never forget him. When it feels one-sided, the Stoic man's exit strategy. She didn't expect you to leave quietly. She thought you'd beg, chase, cry, or fight. But instead, you smiled. You stood tall. And you walked away like a man who already had everything. This is the part no one talks about. The final move of the Stoic man isn't about revenge. It's not about winning. It's not about proving you were better. It's about peace. Powerful, deep, silent peace. You see, most men stay too long. They wait for change. They pray for attention. They try to fix what's already broken. But not you. You saw the signs. You felt the weight. You realized this love was one-sided. And when a man knows his worth, he doesn't wait to be picked. He chooses. And so, you did something brave. You chose yourself. You didn't slam the door. You didn't raise your voice. You didn't burn bridges. You simply stopped showing up where you weren't valued. You stopped pouring your gold into a cup with holes. You stopped chasing and started building. And guess what? That's when she starts to remember everything. The little things you did, the quiet strength you had, the way you never begged, the way you vanished, but never turned bitter. She begins to feel something she didn't expect. Regret. Not because you punished her, but because you became unreachable, not out of hate, but out of purpose. You didn't leave to hurt her. You left to heal yourself. And in doing so, you became a man she could no longer access. Not because you blocked her, but because you outgrew the level where games were played. This is what Stoic wisdom looks like. Not coldness, but clarity. Not revenge, but rise. Not drama, but direction. You were never afraid to lose her, because you knew you'd never lose yourself again. Now remember this: the man who masters his emotions, who values his time, who stays calm in storms, that man doesn't have to chase love, because love starts chasing him. You are that man. So keep walking, not away from her, but toward the life that was always waiting for you.